Warning: you might find the content herein disturbing, but the truth must be revealed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visite suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Naše programy nabízejí více jazyků. Prosím, navštivte suprememastertv.com/schedule.
The late Dr. Tom Regan, who was a philosophy professor at North Carolina State University, USA, said, "Animals have a basic moral right to respectful treatment. This inherent value is not respected when animals are reduced to being mere tools in a scientific experiment." Continue watching to find out more.
Assalamu alaikum means peace be upon you in Arabic, the official language of Yemen. Brilliant viewers, I am Anwar, a vegan bulb sea mouse. The animals and people of historic Yemen wish that others are inspired by your compassion and love to all beings. Welcome to the dawn of benevolent animal testing. I was nominated today to speak on behalf of the nearly 200 million animals used in laboratory experiments worldwide annually, with mice and rats accounting for the vast majority of lab animals. We bulb sea mice are one of the most used types and are laboratory-bred albino house mice. Our name is one that scientists gave us based on the colony we came from. Due to our immune deficiency or weak immune system, we are prone to many types of cancer and have a low rejection rate of human cells. That is the reason we are so widely used in human physiology and disease studies. Since the 1920s, we have been bred for disease modeling and gene manipulation and sold in large quantities as if we are an impersonal product. Our lives are filled with unspeakable nightmares due to the endless experiments we endure. We are tortured in tests by every cruel way you can imagine and then disposed of like any other tool. Also, we are not given anesthesia nor provided with any pain relief during these laboratory experiments. If it were you, how would you feel? As written in the Holy Bible, Luke chapter 6, verse 31, Jesus Christ once said, "Do to others as you would have them do to you." Doesn't this also apply to us lab animals? Please think about this, as we are all your brothers and sisters. Even from the scientific perspective that you are so collectively proud of, animal tests are flawed and ineffective. Only 1 out of 9 new drugs that pass with animal testing also later pass human clinical trials in the United States. There are numerous failed drugs that were once considered safe for humans, and this is after they cleared the animal testing phase. In these failed cases, it is important to point out that humans also became the lab animals. Why are animal tests so problematic? Laboratory environments and procedures have varied results. Lab animals are bred in captivity, which makes me wonder what terrible crimes we have committed such that our liberties have been taken away. Even prisoners have larger spaces for exercise. We have no say regarding the uncomfortable artificial lighting and temperature conditions we endure, along with social isolation. We completely freak out when captured and removed from our cages, not to mention seeing and hearing our fellow companions experiencing the same. All of these factors make us very stressed. As a result, our physiological parameters are adversely influenced, which produces misleading research results. How can you expect a medical model using highly stressed and ill-conditioned animals to show what drug will work in the average person. Even I can figure this one out. In human beings, an ischemic stroke is when there is a blood clot in an artery, usually by a buildup of plaque that blocks blood flow to the brain. This can be fatal. As we don't normally have strokes ourselves, our blood vessels are artificially clamped or inserted with blood clots for stroke medication experiments. Please note that we are not exposed to the major stroke risk factors. For example, we don't drink alcohol, smoke, or eat junk food. We also don't have the underlying conditions that typically drive the accumulation of this plaque in humans, such as obesity and diabetes. So the complex physiology behind human strokes and the pre-existing conditions cannot be comprehensively reproduced in us. Within our physiology and genetics, animals are so different from humans. I will use a piano as a metaphor. Although we share most of our genes with humans, the same as two different pianos having the same keys, the way our keys are being played or the order of gene expression is not the same. When the keys are played in a certain order, we hear Bach. If played in a different order, we hear Chopin or Sir Elton John. So it's the same keys or genes, but with very different outcomes. In a type 2 diabetes study, a human gene was inserted into our genome to let us produce a protein that regulates blood sugar level. But the opposite result happened. Although the gene producing the protein was expressed in the gene-modified mice, they lost control of blood sugar levels. So, the keys intended to play Bach played Sir Elton John instead. We will pause for a brief constructive message and then return. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to The Dawn of Benevolent Animal Testing on Supreme Master Television. In addition to its limitations, animal experimentation is immoral and should be banned. We animals can feel pain and experience happiness and have the ability to suffer and enjoy life just like humans do. We should share the same moral status as humans and deserve equal treatment. For humans, being of a particular race, gender, or age group is not supposed to be the basis of discrimination. In the same thread, we should not be forced to serve and die merely as a testing device. Our dignity and innate rights should be fully respected. The late Dr. Tom Regan, who was a philosophy professor at North Carolina State University, USA, said, "Animals have a basic moral right to respectful treatment. This inherent value is not respected when animals are reduced to being mere tools in a scientific experiment. The exploitation of animals in medical research and cosmetics is cruel, inhumane, and needless." There are many human-based alternatives to animal testing already in practice. In response to the 2009 European Union ban on testing cosmetics ingredients on animals, 3D human cell-derived skin models have been widely adopted for irritation tests and phototoxicity studies. As the models resemble human skin and replicate its characteristics, they have saved mice, guinea pigs, and rabbits from becoming cosmetic experiments. These human skin models can also be utilized in other related tests, such as DNA damage associated with ultraviolet or UV exposure and bacterial adhesion. Vitrocell Systems, a German-based biotech company, has developed human cell-based exposure systems for inhalation toxicology research. The device imitates what happens when chemicals enter the human lungs. Multiple human cell cultures can be exposed to a wide range of airborne forms of substances, such as cosmetics, household and industrial chemicals, cigarette smoke, and pathogens. With the help of this wonderful invention, it is no longer necessary to force wee mice to inhale toxic materials and die for these lung function tests. Organoids and organs on chips are two promising technologies that are helping end the brutal testing on us lab animals. Organoids are 3D miniature human organs developed from stem cells with a size no bigger than a rice grain. Composed of different cell types that resemble the microanatomy and complexity of real human organs, they are already being used to study disease mechanisms, toxicology, and degenerative diseases. For example, brain organoids have been employed to observe how the Zika virus hinders normal brain development of an embryo during pregnancy. This causes microcephaly, a birth defect where the baby's head is smaller than normal. Such organoids have also been used to analyze abnormal gene expression in autistic patients. Organs on chips technology comprises of tiny chips containing 3D cells and tissues of different human organs. As the chips have microfluidic channels to mimic blood vessels, multiple organ chips can be connected to analyze complex biochemical and physiological interconnections across different organs to test a potential medicine as it travels through the simulated human body. Mechanical forces can be applied to the organ chips to mimic the physical microenvironment of living organs, including using cyclical strain to mimic the heart's contractions. In addition, these chips are translucent, so the inner workings of human cells in living organ tissues can be immediately observed, which is a huge advantage over the invasive and horrid testing methods applied to us. It's easy to see that since there are so many animal-free testing alternatives already available, that it's time to replace the needless animal experiments. It's time to abandon the horrendous, unethical, and useless animal testing and redirect resources to building up a humane experimentation system. We pulp sea mice would be very happy to be no longer part of the scientific world, as it would indicate the tide has finally turned and all of us have been freed. Benevolent viewers, we appreciate your company for today's program. May God's blessings continuously flow through all beings.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/AW.